Hello everyone, and this is physics. In this video, I'd like to talk about absolute pressure and gauge pressure and what the differences are between the two. I have here a balloon, and we live under atmospheric pressure. Now inside of this balloon is 1 atmosphere of pressure, and on the outside of this balloon is also 1 atmosphere of pressure. But we don't generally speak in atmospheres. We like to use other units. 1 atmosphere is equal to, in the imperial system, 14.7 pounds per square inch, and in the metric system, 101,300 pascals. For our equations generally used in physics, we're going to be in the metric system to use the pascal. For this demonstration, however, in order to make it easier to understand, I'm going to use pounds per square inch, 14.7 pounds per square inch for atmospheric pressure. So back to our balloon. I have a balloon here. Inside, the air pressure inside of this balloon is 14.7 pounds per square inch. On the outside of this balloon is also 14.7 pounds per square inch. The two cancel out. As a result, the balloon itself experiences zero pressure. There's another way of saying this zero pressure, and that is called gauge pressure. For instance, I have here a gauge. This is a tire pressure gauge, and it will measure air pressures inside of tires. On top of here is 14.7 pounds per square inch, and there's 14.7 pounds per square inch here on the stem that does the actual measurement. As a result, the two cancel out, and the end result is zero pressure, or we call that zero gauge pressure because, well, here is my instrument, it's a gauge, and it is reading zero gauge. In reality, we have 14.7 pounds per square inch acting on us all the time. Let me go back to this balloon here as a demonstration of that. So I've blown some air inside of this balloon. Now there's two ways for me to describe the air pressure inside of this balloon. One way is absolute pressure, and the other is gauge. In terms of absolute, there was originally 14.7 pounds per square inch already inside the balloon, and if we assume that I blew in additional 2 pounds per square inch of air pressure, therefore, in absolute terms, the air pressure inside of this balloon is 14.7 plus 2, 16.7 pounds per square inch. In terms of gauge pressure, remember the reading, the atmospheric reading in gauge, where'd my little gauge go? In gauge pressure is 0. Therefore, looking inside of this balloon, it started with 0 gauge. Therefore, the air pressure inside of this balloon is 2 pounds per square inch gauge. And that's the differences between absolute and gauge. Absolute considers the original atmospheric pressure, where gauge pressure considers the atmospheric pressure to be at 0 gauge. I'm going to do another demonstration of the same thing. Here's my little friend. Here you go, my gauge. I have here my bicycle, and the tire in my bicycle right now is flat. Now we know that the air pressure inside of the tube that's in this bicycle is 14.7, and the air pressure outside of the tube is also 14.7, and the two cancel out. The end result is zero gauge pressure. Here's my gauge, and if I take the pressure now, the air pressure inside of this tube, I take that air pressure, it does, well, nothing. Hence the term zero gauge pressure. I'm going to put air pressure inside this tire now. And this is the same as the air pressure in the tires of your car. If you were to go to a mechanic and the mechanic says to you, well, yeah, I needed to put 2 pounds of air inside of your tires, what he really means is 2 pounds per square inch of air. Generally, in everyday speak, when we're talking about tires, we just simply talk in pounds. In the imperial system, the metric system uses pascals. So if a mechanic says your typical car tire requires 36 pounds of air, he really means 36 pounds per square inch of air. Now I have some air now in here, and there's two ways that I can describe the air pressure in here. One is absolute, where I'm going to include the original atmospheric pressure, but typically that's not done. We use a gauge, starting at 0 pressure. So this is going to measure only the tire pressure inside of the tube. And if you look at this gauge, it has two measurement systems. One is in pounds, the imperial system, and notice it doesn't say PSI, it just says pounds. And the other one is in kilopascals. This is the metric system. And this is all gauge. And looking at this, the air pressure that's inside of that tire is 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 pounds. 15 pounds, but it actually means 15 pounds per square inch, gauge pressure. And that is the difference between absolute and gauge pressures. And this is physics.